For the most part, the S24 series look the same as the S23 series. If you look at the S24 Ultra though, it looks even similar to the S22 Ultra, launched like 2 years back. Yes, there are changes like it's got flatter, the screen is much more flattened, but overall, it looks the same. When can we expect a big change? Well, according to a leak, the current design team leader of the Samsung's mobile division is actually a former designer at Mercedes-Benz, and he is focused on the task of redefining the Galaxy brand's past image to provide a fresh new feel. Here's the simple words. They will actually change the whole design language or the design of Samsung mobile devices. And I'm mostly talking about the Galaxy Ultra models and the Galaxy foldables. So some significant design changes are expected for the Galaxy S25 series onwards. And that clearly first means that the camera array design will change drastically. And Samsung will also do a lot of changes to the cameras itself. Because if you don't know, Samsung is already experimenting with 200 megapixel telephoto cameras with up to 2x and 4x zoom capabilities. And that simply means that if the camera is a 200 megapixel 5x camera, then it can do lossless zoom up to 10x as well as 20x. Technically, doesn't mean that will happen on the production device, maybe they will restrict it, but at the end of the day, Samsung is working hard on that. Plus, they're also rumored to come with some insane camera changes. For example, the S25 and S25 Plus will actually come with Sony camera sensors, the main camera sensors, instead of ISO cameras. So Sony recently also announced number of 50 megapixel plus camera sensors though, and maybe one of them will be used inside the S25 and S25 Plus. So this is definitely gonna be a massive change because these phones, like the cheaper models, the cheaper standard models, haven't seen a big camera jump for like few years now at this point. It's really getting boring. But what is getting more interesting though is actually the S25 Ultra. But this one though will come with something different. It will come with the Samsung's in-house 1-inch 200 megapixel camera. ISO cameras, it will be a 1/0.98-inch sensor. Small little tiny phone cameras, this is massive. And this will also come with 200 megapixel resolution and 0.8 micrometer size pixels. I mean, if you just now take it into account like 50 megapixel mode or 12.5 megapixel modes, then the pixel size is going to be, the super pixel size is going to be much more higher. Plus, it will come with 4x ISO zoom any place technology. Now, this in-sensor zoom is actually the most interesting part of today's smartphones. Now, this is something we are also going to see with the launch of the S24 Ultra, pretty much clearly, from the main camera to the telephoto camera. What it does is that it crops into the sensor without losing any quality or visible quality in the photos. So what technically it will do is actually, like the S24 Ultra can do, is like it can do zoom up to 2x and 4x without losing any quality using the main 200 megapixel camera. So this is same kind of thing will also be expected with that 1-inch sensor, which will gather more light in and will have much more detailed photos. This is really big. And this is the same technology is also getting implemented in the 5x zoom camera that is going to be inside the S24 Ultra, which will actually technically be able to zoom in up to 10x without losing any quality because it's a 48 megapixel sensor. So with a 2x zoom, it can create a 12 megapixel photo at 10x because that 2x zoom is actually 10x for the 5x camera because it's natively a 5x zoom camera. So you see what I'm trying to say here. Now, that's not the only thing. Samsung also might introduce a new kind of OLED panel on its phones in the second half of 2025. That simply means it's probably not going for the S25 series, but it's going to be called PHOLED. Samsung actually deploys green and red phosphorescent subpixels, but blue diodes still use fluorescent material. So the new blue phosphorescent diodes are said to offer an internal luminance efficiency of 100% compared to 25% on the fluorescent materials. Now, this simply means the displays can go even more brighter without consuming that much power. But another cool thing that is coming to the S25 series, and it's pretty much clear, is the 3nm Snapdragon 8 Gen 4 chip. This is the biggest jump yet on smartphones overall in terms of chip upgrade. Because according to reliable leaks or DCS or Digital Chat Station, Snapdragon 8 Gen 4, codename Sun, is a 3nm chip made by TSMC, and that's not the exciting part. The exciting part is that it will feature octa-core Orion CPU. That's the most exciting thing. Now it will have 2 high-performance Phoenix L CPU cores and 6 power-efficient Phoenix M CPU cores. So there is no prime core, there is no performance core, there is no efficiency core. There are just only 2 cores. Now he also claims that the Qualcomm has made significant gains in the performance and that the CPU performance will be very similar to the Apple's M series chips. Now it will also be interesting to see what Samsung gonna cook with this Exynos 2500 aka Dream chip. I mean, we will definitely have to wait for more news to come in. But another tip to say is that the Snapdragon 8 Gen 4 processor consumes at the peak 8 watts of power, much lower than the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 though. He also claims that the GPU, the 830 GPU inside the Snapdragon 8 Gen 4 is actually 10% more powerful than the desktop-grade M2 chip inside the Apple's laptops. Now, if you're thinking about the Geekbench score, the estimated scores at this point is about 10,000 points in the multi-core CPU department and about 2,800 points in the single-core department. But take that with a pinch of salt at this point because these things change over time depending on the cooling solutions and all those stuff. But at the end of the day, it's really exciting for both Android world as well as for the Windows world because the ARM Windows thing's gonna be crazy. And that will also make the Samsung Galaxy tabs more powerful than you think. It's just mind-boggling to me. And tell me your thoughts in the comment section below about all these things. And yes, if you want, you can get some crazy cool wallpapers up on my website. A link down below. Until the next one, bye and take care.